This weekend I went thrifting and came across this vintage sweater in a clearance bin. It had a hole in the armpit and 2 in the chest. I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to practice some darning. First, it got a wash. I pinned up the holes so that they wouldn't tear worse as I handled it. I started with the armpit hole so that if I really messed up my first attempt, it wouldn't be as noticeable. I wanted to try 2 types of mending since I had multiple spots to work with. The first method I tried both on the armpit and the lower front hole was patch stitching. This is where you knit up a new patch of fabric on the existing live stitches of the hole. Then you sew the patch in on the top and the sides. I thought this darning method would work best as the sweater is knitted in a rib pattern and I could more easily mimic the ribbing with a new patch of knitting. The second method I tried is duplicate stitch. You create ladders over the hole with a new piece of yarn and then create duplicate knit stitches around and over the hole. I couldn't find a good tutorial on how to do duplicate purl stitches, which is why I thought this method would be more difficult on the rib pattern of the sweater. But surprisingly, I think this method worked a little bit better. If you're interested in learning how to darn and mend, YouTube has many tutorials to offer. I'll link the ones I used in the description below. I actually found one more surprise hole when I went to try the sweater on after I finished all of my darning. Overall, I think it turned out really well. The yarn I used was a slightly different color, a little bit more blue, so that's kind of noticeable. Again, like I said, I think the duplicate stitching actually worked a lot better than the patch. I think the yarn was too thin and so it caused a little bit of pinching on the sweater. It's not perfect, but I had 2 goals with this sweater. I wanted to practice my darning, and then the second goal was to give new life to this sweater, which I did. It'll be a nice, warm household sweater for the winter. And I mean, I've been wearing it all day after I finished knitting it, and it is very comfortable. It's very warm. I'm surprised because I generally steer away from polyesters and acrylics at the store new, so I was pleasantly surprised with how warm this one is. I did do a fabric test, burn test on the fabric after I cut away some of the extra holes, and it burned as plastic. It like didn't catch it all. There was a very sweet smell in the air, and when I went to touch the fibers, they were melded together. So my guess is that it is probably 100% acrylic, or whatever plastic fibers they had at the time in the 70s. It's definitely a 70s style sweater. I have a Vogue pattern or sewing book from 1973 that offers the shawl collar as an option on your sewing shirts, your sewn shirts. So I'm almost positive it's probably from the 70s. It also has serged, you see that serged sleeves and seams. So that was more common later in the 20th century, not as common earlier on. But it's definitely just like a manufactured, probably pretty cheap sweater. It's very strange that there's no tag. My guess is someone just did not like wearing the tag in the sweater, so they cut it out. I've accomplished what I meant to accomplish with this sweater. I'm very happy with it. So thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please let me know, and I will meet you next time for the next video.